Hello everyone and welcome to the new session of the lecture series, and today we'll be solving the NCERT based multiple choice questions from the chapter Photosynthesis in Higher Plants. Okay, so we've already solved and discussed some of the MCQs in the previous lecture, and today we'll be solving the rest of the MCQs. So let's start with the first question, which is, in an experiment, the carbon dioxide available to a C4 plant, okay, was labeled with a radioactive isotope. Okay, so they have labeled the carbon dioxide, all right, with a radioactive isotope, and the amount of radioactivity in the chloroplast was measured. All right, now they are saying as photosynthesis proceeded, in which of the following molecules did the radioactivity first appear? Okay, so we have to name the molecule which will show the radioactivity. All right, so a molecule in which carbon dioxide, this radio labeled carbon dioxide, will be inserted, that molecule will become a radio label. All right, so let's talk about C4 plants. In C4 plants, what happens? Carbon dioxide, okay, is accepted by what? Phosphoenol pyruvate, which is a 3-carbon compound. Carbon dioxide contains 1 carbon. Okay, this in the presence of enzyme PEP carboxylase. Okay, what it will form? It will form the, okay, a 4-carbon compound known as oxaloacetic acid. Okay, that's why C4 plants are named C4, because the first or the primary compound formed is a 4-carbon compound known as oxaloacetate or oxaloacetic acid. Okay, now they are saying they have labeled this, radio labeled this carbon, okay, in the carbon dioxide. Now what happens? As the metabolic pathway progresses in chloroplast, oxaloacetic is formed, so radioactivity should be present in oxaloacetic acid. Okay, so the options are oxaloacetic acid, phosphoenol pyruvate, malic acid, or RUBP. Alright, so what should be the correct answer here? Oxaloacetic acid is the correct answer for this question. The next question is, which of the following combination is correct for C4 plants? Okay, so this is the table here. Here they have shown what is happening in the mesophyll cells, and here they have shown what is happening in the bundle sheath cells, which cycle and which enzyme is responsible. Okay, this is the cycle and this is the enzyme. Okay, so here first option is PEP carboxylase is related to C4 cycle. Yes, and PEP carboxylase is present where? In the mesophyll cells. Okay, and then Rubisco is related to C3 cycle, and Rubisco enzyme is present in bundle sheath cells. Alright, the question again, let's see the question. They are asking which combination is correct for C4 plants. Okay, so this combination is correct for C4 plants. PEP carboxylase enzyme is present in the mesophyll cells, is alright, and it helps in the production of oxaloacetate, whereas Rubisco is present in the bundle sheath cells. Okay, and Rubisco enzyme involved in the C3 cycle. So we have already got the answer here. Option A is the correct option here. Okay, next is PEP carboxylase is present in mesophyll cell, but it is not involved in the Kelvin cycle. Okay, Kelvin cycle is known as the C3 cycle. Okay, then Rubisco is not involved in C4 cycle. Okay, option third is PEP carboxylase and C4 cycle. Alright, which is correct. Then we have PEP carboxylase and C4 cycle. This is not correct. Here it should be Rubisco, and here it should be C3 instead of. Alright, And PEP carboxylase is not present in bundle sheath cells. So this option is also not correct. Option D is Rubisco and C4 cycle. Again, not correct. Rubisco is not present in mesophyll cells. This option also, PEP carboxylase is not present in the bundle sheath cells. Alright, and it is not involved in the C3 cycle. Okay, so what should be the answer? Option A is the correct answer here. Okay. The next question is, which of the following is incorrectly matched? First option is sorghum and Cran's anatomy. So sorghum is what? Sorghum is a C4 plant. Okay. And C4 plant, what they show? They show a unique leaf anatomy. Okay. They are adapted to the tropical conditions or arid condition and they show unique leaf anatomy. Okay, this unique leaf anatomy is known as Cran's anatomy. Okay, so this option is correct. This option is correct, but we have to select the incorrect option. Alright, now let's talk about option B. So they are saying PS2 is related to P700. Okay, let's look at the third option also. Photorespiration and C3 plants. So this is also correct. Photorespiration occurs in C3 plants when the enzyme Rubisco, okay, it binds to oxygen. Then we see the photorespiratory pathway. Alright, and this happens in the C3 plants. Whereas C4 plants, they have reduced photorespiration or they don't have any photorespiration, or you can say they avoid photorespiration. Now let's look at the fourth option, which is PEP carboxylase is present in the mesophyll cells, they are saying, which is correct. Okay, so PEP carboxylase. What happens in the mesophyll cells? In the C4 pathway, we have again carbon dioxide which combines with phosphoenol pyruvate in the presence of PEP carboxylase, and it gives, okay, or it generates a 4-carbon compound known as oxaloacetic acid. So this is happening where? This is happening in the mesophyll cells. Alright, this is happening in the mesophyll cells. Okay, so this option is also correct. Now we are left with option B. Alright, so this option should be the answer for this question. Why? Because photosystem, if you talk about photosystem 2, photosystem 2 has a reaction center, okay, which is what? A single chlorophyll A molecule, which has maximum absorption at, so this chlorophyll A has maximum absorption at 680 nanometer. Okay, that's why we say reaction center of photosystem 2 is P680. Alright, so this option is incorrect here. Alright, here it should be P680 instead of P700. Alright, so correct answer here is option B, which is the incorrect statement. Now let's talk about the fourth question. So here they are saying in maximum plants or in most plants, stomata open during day. Okay, so this is true and close in the night time. Now its exception is, so they're talking about plants in which stomata open at night and close in the morning or the daytime. Okay, so options are crassulacean acid metabolism plants, or you can say CAM plants. Okay, second option is C3 plants. C option is C4 plants, and the fourth option is none of these. Okay, so let's talk about the CAM plants. Okay, so in CAM plant, what happens? This pathway, or you can say the CAM pathway, it occurs in two phases. First is night time. So during night, what happens? Stomata remains open. Okay, stomata remains open. Alright, and CAM pathway is seen where? Again, in plants that live in tropical or arid conditions. Okay, now at night time, stomata remains open and carbon dioxide fixation takes place at night. Or you can say carbon is fixed at night. At the night time. Okay, and in which form carbon is stored? Carbon is stored in the form of a 4-carbon compound known as malic acid. Okay, the carbon is stored in the form of what? Malic acid in the vacuoles. Okay, malic acid is stored in vacuoles. Alright, and then what happens during the daytime? This malic acid come out of the vacuole and it is decarboxylated to form pyruvate, and carbon dioxide is released as a byproduct, which is used where? In the C3 cycle. Okay, here you can write decarboxylation. So, what should be the answer here? Exception they are asking. So, CAM plants are exception to the normal plants. So, answer is option B, caspholation acid metabolism. The next question is about photorespiration. So, photorespiration, again, you know, when rubisco binds to oxygen, alright, or you can say when RUBP combines with oxygen, okay, instead of carbon dioxide, then we see the photorespiratory pathway. Now, option 1 is occurs because oxygen rather than carbon dioxide links to the rubisco enzyme in the Calvin cycle. Option B is occurs more in C4 plant than in C3 plant under identical conditions. So, this is not correct. It occurs more in what? C3. Occurs more in C3 plants. Alright. And less in C4 plants. Alright. Or you can say less or reduce. In photorespiration is reduced in C4 plants. Alright. Why? Because of the presence of Cran's anatomy. Option C is all of the above. Option 4 is describes the uptake of carbon dioxide and the release of oxygen in chloroplast. This is also not correct. So we are left with option A. Alright, so option A is occurs when oxygen rather than carbon dioxide links to rubisco. So this is correct. This is true about the photorespiration. Alright, during the high oxygen conditions. Okay, during high oxygen conditions, or you can say during what? High oxygen to carbon dioxide ratio. The rubisco binds to oxygen instead of carbon dioxide. So correct answer is option A. Now, sixth question is, which one of the following statement is incorrect in relation to photorespiration? Alright, we have to select the incorrect statement. Now, first is, it is characteristic of C3 plants. This is true. Photorespiration is seen in C3 plants. Now, second option is the RUBP binds with oxygen to form one molecule of phosphoglycerate and phosphoglycolate. So, phosphoglycolate is a 2-carbon compound, whereas phosphoglycerate is a 3-carbon compound. So, this is also correct. Alright, RUBP is a 5-carbon compound. Okay, when RUBP binds with oxygen, one molecule of phosphoglycerate is formed and one molecule of phosphoglycolate is formed. Now, third option is, there is synthesis of ATP or NADPH, which is incorrect. Alright, in photorespiration, there is no synthesis of ATP and NADPH. It is a wasteful process. Okay. And fourth option is, occurs in daytime only. So, this is also correct. So, what should be the correct answer? There is synthesis of ATP or NADPH. This is the incorrect statement about photorespiration. Okay. Now, next question is, a process that creates an important difference between C3 and C4 plants. And the options are Kelvin-Benzel cycle, or you can say C3 cycle. Second option is photosynthesis. Photosynthesis takes place in what? It is common to both C3 and C4. Okay. Now, next option is photorespiration. So, photorespiration is seen in C3 plants. Okay, so this is the important difference between C3 and C4 plant. Fourth option is transpiration. Transpiration again takes place in all the plants, you can say. So, what should be the correct answer here? Photorespiration. Photorespiration is the important difference between C3 and C4 plants. The next question is, what will happen if the supply of oxygen is decreased to an illuminated wheat plant? Okay, so wheat plant is a what? It is a C3 plant. Means it shows Kelvin cycle. Alright, now the options are, let's read the option. Its photosynthesis would decrease. Okay, second option is, all physiological process would stop. Third option is, its respiration process would stop. Fourth option is, photosynthesis will increase. Okay, now they are saying, if the supply of oxygen is decreased, alright, then what will happen? If we talk about the C3 plants, so wheat, in the question they are talking about the wheat. The wheat is the C3 plant, so let's talk about the C3 plant. So in the C3 plant, what happens? Okay, RUBP, it combines with carbon dioxide. Alright, but in some cases or in some condition, RUBP can bind to oxygen instead of carbon dioxide. So, if we decrease the amount of oxygen or the supply of oxygen, then what will happen? There is no oxygen, means there will be reduced photorespiration or no photorespiration. Okay, so what will happen? If there is reduced photorespiration, when we decrease the supply of oxygen, then what will happen? Photosynthesis should increase. Alright, photosynthesis increases. So what is the correct answer here? Photosynthesis would increase. The next question is, which of the following plant species have highest photosynthetic yield? Alright, first option is species that perform photorespiration. This is not true. Species that perform photorespiration will have lower photosynthetic yield as compared to C4 plant. It have lower photosynthetic yield. Okay. Now, next option is species possessing C4 pathway. Alright. Third option is species possessing C4 pathway, and fourth option is same for all. Okay. Alright. Now let's talk about second option, species possessing C3 pathway. So here, what happens? Photosynthetic yield is good but less as compared to C4 plants. Alright. But highest photosynthetic yield is seen in the C4 plants. Why? Because they avoid photorespiration. Okay, so what should be the correct answer is species possessing C4 pathway. The next question is, the principle of limiting factor was proposed by, options are Blackman, Hill, Arnold and Liebig. Alright, so this is a very straightforward question. Answer is Blackman. Blackman proposed the law of or principle of limiting factor. And what does principle of limiting factor means? Okay, the rate of photosynthesis is dependent on the factor which is present at the suboptimal level, or you can say the rate of the reaction. Here you can say the rate of the reaction depends on the factor. Okay, factor can be anything, carbon dioxide, water, temperature. Alright, factor that is present in suboptimal level, you can say, or shortest supply that is present in suboptimal, or you can say shortest level. This is known as the Blackman law, or Blackman proposes principle of limiting factors. Okay, correct option is answer A. The next question is, which of the following statement given below is incorrect? Alright, first is C4 plants respond to higher temperature while C3 plants have a much lower optimum temperature. So this is true. Second option is tropical plants have higher temperature optimum than the plants adapted to temperate climate. This is also true. Some C3 plants are allowed to grow in CO2 enriched atmosphere that leads to higher yield. Okay, so this is not correct. Again, let's read this option. Some C3 plants are allowed to grow in CO2 enriched atmosphere that leads to higher yield. This is true. Alright, this is true. Okay, why this is true? Whenever we increase the, you can say, internal or external carbon dioxide. So what will happen? Rubisco can bind to what? Can bind to carbon dioxide instead of oxygen. Alright. Or you can say RUBP can combine with carbon dioxide to form what? To form two molecules of 3-phosphoglycerate or 3-phosphoglyceric acid. The photosynthetic yield should be higher. The next option is water state causes the stomata to remain open. This is not correct. Water state causes stomata to close actually. Water states will close the stomata. Alright, if the stomata are closed, then the photosynthetic rate will decrease. Alright, so this option is not correct. So answer should be option D. Option D is the incorrect statement. Water state causes the stomata to remain open. Not true. If the stomata remain open, there will be more transpiration and plant can wilt. Okay, so that's why this option is not correct. Now question 12 is, under water stress, the rate of photosynthesis decline because options are stomatal closure leads to decrease in carbon dioxide supply. So this is true. Whenever stomata are closed, there will be no gaseous exchange. Okay, there will be no gaseous exchange. Option B is reduce water potential that decreases leaf surface area for photosynthesis. So this is also true. Okay. So what happens? Water potential. The water potential, alright, is required for what? For increase of the leaf surface area. Why water potential is important? Because it gives turgidity to cells. Alright. So this is a fact that whenever there will be reduced water potential, the leaf area will decrease. Okay, leaf area will decrease. And why this is? Because this is because of the no enlargement of the cells. Okay, enlargement is related to the increase in the surface area. Okay, but here there is no enlargement, so there is no increase in the leaf surface area. If leaf area is, okay, if this leaf area is decreased, then what will happen? There will be decrease in absorption of light. Okay, and thus this will reduce the photosynthetic efficiency or photosynthetic yield. So answer is both A and B. Turgidity of the leaf is not important. Okay, this is not true. Now next question is, why at high light intensities gradually photosynthesis rate does not show further increase? Okay, so again there is a fact that whenever you increase the light intensity, then what happens? Initially what happens? Photosynthetic rate will increase. Okay, but later what happens? The photosynthetic yield decreases. Why? Because of the photo oxidation, or you can say breakdown of the chlorophyll molecule. Okay, there is a breakdown of the chlorophyll molecule, and if there is a breakdown of the chlorophyll molecule, what will happen? There will be no absorption of light. Okay, and this will lead to the decrease in the photosynthetic yield. Okay, and next option is, okay, let's read the options. First option, higher light intensity activate more chlorophyll. Not true. Second option is higher light intensity causes more transpiration. Okay, but here we are talking about the photosynthesis and not transpiration. This is also not true. Option C is no more sugar formation. Okay, this is also not true. Fourth option, other factors become limiting. Okay, So this option is correct. Option D. What should be the answer to this question? Option D. As the light intensity increase, okay, initially the photosynthetic rate will increase and later it will slow down or it will not show any further increase. This is why, because the other factors become limiting. Okay. So initially if we draw a graph like this, okay, here initially there is an increase in the photosynthetic rate and then it becomes stable. Okay, we can draw here rate of photosynthesis. Here we have light intensity. Okay, so as we move up, initially what happens, the photosynthetic rate increases, but later on, here in this region, photosynthesis it stops or it becomes stationary. Why? Because the other factors become limiting. Alright, other factors can be carbon dioxide, water, or temperature, anything. Next question is, which metal ion constitutes of chlorophyll? So this is a straightforward question. Options are iron, copper, magnesium and zinc. Answer is magnesium. A central magnesium ion is present in the chlorophyll molecule. Okay. And next question is, which pigment acts directly to convert light energy into chemical energy? Options are chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, xanthophyll and carotenoid. So chlorophyll A is the chief pigment, whereas chlorophyll B is an accessory pigment. Then we have xanthophyll, accessory pigment, carotenoid also accessory pigments. Alright, so option we are left with chlorophyll A. So chlorophyll A, which is the primary or the chief pigment, is involved in the conversion of light energy into chemical energy. Okay, how energy is stored in the form of chemical energy? Initially in the form of ATP and NADPH. Okay, energy is stored in ATP and NADPH, and later on this ATP and NADPH are used up in the dark reaction. Okay. So what should be the answer? Option A is the correct answer here. So this was the end of this session. Thank you very much for listening.